Don't you hate it when you have to sneeze and you can't? I hate that. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chia and today I'm going to be doing a TBR video. I haven't done these the past maybe a couple months or so because December I decided not to do one because I wanted to focus on like a bunch of the end of the year stuff. So I decided to do another one for January, but this time it's going to be different. This time I'm going to let a spinner wheel pick my reads for February. Instead of doing like TBR prompts right now, I might save that for a future TBR video where I put a bunch of prompts in because I feel like that's the most like popular one that I see constantly. In order for me to reduce the size of my physical TBR, I put all my physical TBR on a spinner wheel and we're gonna spin through them and see which breeds I'm gonna have for the month. I got this idea from Poppy Calliope here on YouTube. I will link her channel down below, and I feel like this would be a good opportunity for me to reduce the size of my physical TBR because I have so many. I think I have like over 100 on my physical TBR, and every single time I've done these TBR videos I feel like I've only like read maybe 2 or 3 books. 3 books is pushing it. 2 books. 1 or 2 books max for my TBR. So I decided to use this video as a means to reduce the size of my physical TBR, and I bought like a bunch of books before when I started my reading journey, and there's some books on my shelf that's been there for a year that I have yet to touch. And also I'm thinking of trying to get maybe a TBR cart starting next month maybe, because I feel like that'd be more useful to have this in the background of my videos and for me to pick from rather than like trying to search through all my shelves to figure out where my physical book is. So I might just end up getting that in the future, but we shall see. I will only be picking 6 books from this spinner wheel because I am a major mood reader where I scroll through my Instagram or my TikTok, and then whenever there's something being hyped about on there through book talk and everything, I want to read it for myself, and then before you know it I'm trying to read it and buy it. So I'm trying to leave room for that and leave space for some anticipated like releases this month as well. The Rebel Witch is coming out soon. I think it's coming out February 18th. Yeah, February 18th. It's coming out February 18th and I'm so excited for it, and I want to leave room for if there's like other books I want to pick up as well. There's some rereads I want to do also. Right now I'm in the middle of my ACOTAR reread because I did finish Onyx Storm recently and I've been kind of like in a slump, so I wanted something to get me out of it, and I felt like rereads will help with that. But I am slowly getting out of it and I'm so excited for this coming February to see what books I'm going to read. So let's get started. I don't know if this is like the app that everyone uses, but it's like the first one that I found when I was looking it up online, and it's just called Spin the Wheel. And so I put all my physical TBR in here, and then let's get started to spin. So my first read of February on my TBR will be Riftborn. Okay, Riftborn is available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's a fantasy romance book, and it follows a girl named Fia. And Fia she has sort of like a brand as an outcast, as that was like a part of like in a rebellion group, and she's marked as an outcast, so everyone knows that she was a part of the rebellion or her family was a part of the rebellion, but I guess it's very like deep in prejudice. Fia Riftborn navigates a city rife with prejudices so deep it's often deadly, but she harbors a secret, one that paints an even larger target on her back. A hidden power within her is growing, threatening to destroy everything she's built for herself. And I guess like during one of these encounters that she has with one of the citizens, she ends up accidentally using her powers, and one of the generals who is a part of building a unit of powerful wielders within the guard to force a growing threat, I guess sees her use her powers, and then he tries to recruit her by saying that he won't turn her in for having magical powers because I guess it's like dangerous and illegal in this world. And he says to her, oh, I won't turn you in if you come train and be a part of my unit that I want to be powerful wielders to help save like the country or something. I've been hearing good things about it. Apparently it's going to be a trilogy, and it's a part of the Esprithian trilogy, and it's by 2 authors, Greenwich and Lennox. And I do really like the cover, so I can't wait to read that. Let's move on to the next one. Next is The Witch Collector. Okay, I've been meaning to read this anyways, and I've been putting it off because I just haven't been in the mood to read it, but I can't wait. The Witch Collector it's a part of the Witchwalker quartet or trilogy. I'm not too sure because I know there's the first 2 books out, which is Witch Collector and the City Ruins, and there's also like a novella, but then I think there was supposed to be a 3rd book that was supposed to come out last year, but something went wrong with the publishing, so we're still waiting on that. And I thought it was gonna be a trilogy, but then now I'm hearing that like it's gonna be a 4-book series. But it follows a girl named Reina, and I guess she has a dream to kill the Frost King and the Witch Collector who stole her sister. Something that happens every collecting day, which is like a yearly thing where they go and collect witches. And she wants to kill these 2 because they took her sister away from her. Thrust into an age-old story of ice, fire, and ancient gods, Reina must abandon her vengeance and aid the Witch Collector or let their empire and her sister fall into enemy hands. But the lines between good and evil blur, and Reina has more to lose than she imagined. What is she to do when the Witch Collector is no longer the villain who stole her sister, but the hero who's stealing her heart? So it's fantasy romance, and I'm interested to see a new magical system, and I'm also wanting to see new representation in this because I heard she is deaf and she uses sign language as a form to, not our type of sign language, I don't think. I think it's their kind of world of sign language, and I'm interested to see how they portray this in this world. So I'm so excited that was like one of the choices for the wheel. But the next one is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. There's so many times I have put this book on my TBR and I'm finally ready to read it. I've had it since earlier last year. This will be the perfect timing for it because next month the 3rd book is supposed to come out as well. I've just been kind of iffy about picking it up. I heard the world is so interesting, but the thing that's throwing me off is that I heard that it writes into sort of diary entries or journal entries, and it's told more from that kind of perspective. And I've been hearing a lot of like mixed things where it's like super cozy. If you want like magical fairies, then this is the book to pick up or the 2 to pick up. But some people have said that it kind of reads as sort of as a textbook and it's sort of boring, but I am interested to still see what I think of it since I have the first 2 books on my physical TBR. I'm so excited to finally reach that book. But it's about a character named Emily Wilde, and she goes to explore the world of fairies. She's writing sort of like a book about them, and then she finds out that her academic rival is there too, and I heard it's like very whimsical and magical, and a lot of people have it on their favorites. So I'm excited to see what I actually think of it, and I'm ready to finally read it because I am determined to follow my TBR this month. Okay, and the 4th book I'm going to be reading for February is Half a Soul. Okay, we're going to a lot of fantasy romance this month. Half a Soul is another one of those cozy fantasies where it's not too serious, and I think it's super short too. It's like under 300 pages, I want to say. Yeah, a little bit under 300 pages or a little bit over. Follows a character named Theodora, and I guess when she was younger she was cursed by a fairy. I guess the fairy took away half her soul, and because she only has half a soul, she has no means of feeling embarrassed. So she can't feel embarrassment. She doesn't have any sort of filter because she doesn't feel that because half her soul is missing. And during the time that she is sort of like from the Regency era, and during that time, you know how everyone lived by propriety, was very conservative. Just thinking about not having embarrassment and having no filter on yourself while being in this time period can prove a lot of conflicts can happen. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. And there's supposed to be also a love story that happens too with a character named Elias. I like the name. I like Elias. It's very like old school name. But that's gonna be my 4th book. And now moving on to my 5th book, A Far Wilder Magic. Okay, I'm glad it's going into more of the books that I've had on my list for the longest time. A Far Wilder Magic is by Alison Saff. It's an academic YA fantasy, and it follows a character named Margaret Welty. When Margaret Welty spots the legendary Hala, the last living mythical creature, she knows the Half Moon Hunt will soon follow. Whoever is able to kill the Hala will earn fame and riches and unlock an ancient magical secret. While Margaret is the best sharpshooter in town, only teams of 2 can register, and she needs an alchemist. Okay, that's cool. I like that she's a sharpshooter and she knows how to shoot. So I'm assuming that's going to be a love story. Yeah, Weston Winsters isn't an alchemist yet. He's been fired from every apprenticeship he's landed, and his last chance hinges on Master Welty taking him in. But when Wes arrives at Welty Manor, he finds only Margaret. She begrudgingly allows him to stay, but on one condition: he must join the hunt with her. So I guess you're going to be going on an expedition kind of story. Well, like, I've had this book on my shelf for over a year. It is time that I read it because I can't have all these books sitting on my shelf and not read it. This has given me a chance to finally pick that up, so I'm excited for that. Now moving on to my last and final TBR pick. Belladonna. Belladonna was on my fall TBR list, and I wanted to read it during spooky season because I heard the world is set in more like a gothic kind of setting, and also there's a character who's sort of like the death incarnate, and I guess she works with the female main character to solve sort of like a mystery or something like that. I have been meaning to read this for a while now, but I'm finally getting a chance to force myself to read it. I don't know if that's like the right word for it, but this gives me an opportunity to read it myself and finally decide whether or not if I like the story or not, because I've heard mixed things about it, like the whole entire series in general. Some people absolutely loved the Belladonna first book, didn't like Foxglove because Foxglove sort of like follows a different character or branches off to a different storyline, but then it all wraps up really nicely in Wisteria. I'm interested to see how I feel about the whole entire series, and I'm ready to read Belladonna first. Yeah, those are the 6 books I'm going to be reading for February TBR. Let's do a little recap. We're starting off with Riftborn, The Witch Collector, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Half a Soul, A Far Wilder Magic, and Belladonna. Those are going to be the books that are going to be on my February TBR. I'm actually really excited with the picks, and I thought this was fun. I really like this idea because it's making me work through my physical TBR, which is very important because I can't keep buying books and then putting it on my shelf and not reading it. It's just like, it's way too much. So sometimes it's just a necessary thing to like just go through these spinner wheels and then have something else choose the books to read for you, and you just do it. So I will be doing some videos reading my TBR hopefully, so stay tuned for that, and some reading vlogs. But I'm so excited for the TBR this month, and I can't wait to see how I fare at the end of February. Anyways, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.